Welcome, it's your friendly neighborhood Badger here, and today I'm going to be uploading two videos. This first video that you're watching, which is Exsanguinate, and my three kind of theory crafted build ideas that are generally just in that state for you to take away and have a play around with Exsanguinate. And then the second video is going to be on Reap, which will be just after this one. Now, as I stated in one of my previous videos, I'm not actually releasing build guides until the patch notes are released, which is hopefully just under 24 hours, but basically to satiate all of you with some interesting ideas that will probably work in some way, whether they're going to be good, whether they're going to be bad. They're just to kind of give to you to have a little play around with and to see what may be possible with these two new blood skills. But today, as I said, I'm starting with Exsanguinate, and we're going to look at my three ideas. So, first of all, what is Exsanguinate? So Exsanguinate uses life instead of mana to shoot tendrils of blood in front of you, applying a strong fizz damage hit and a fizz damage over time debuff, which can stack up to 3 times. You can also support it that the tendrils chain from one target to the next, which is pretty interesting. We can see right here the Exsanguinate looks quite bloody, as you would say, and will be chaining between enemies. So, what are my choices, my three choices that I would go for with this skill? Well, first of all, idea one, we're going to be looking at Trickster. Now, why Trickster? Let's have a little talk. So first of all, Trickster is in a really good place to be able to utilize low life, unleash, self-casting Exsanguinate. Now, the big thing with Exsanguinate is it stacks up to 3 times of the base physical damage degen. Now, it has a short base duration for that degen, but if you're using Unleash, you can stack up instantly to those 3 stacks and use the duration of those stacks. I was about to say bleed, but it is not bleed. Those physical degen stacks to kind of move around, dodge, and get your Unleash casts back. The good thing about this is you don't need the Unleash helmet to give you an extra seal. You don't need the Unleash on the tree to give you an extra seal, because base Unleash is enough to just get you those 3 stacks, which is really, really nice. So we scale the damage over time with Trickster. We go low life, but also scale hybrid life and energy shield. Now, this is using things like Corrupted Soul to give us more energy shield from our life pool, so we do scale our life pool a bit. We don't need to use Chavrons because we'll be using Petrified Blood to receive easy low life. And as you can see on Exsanguinate, their modifiers to spell damage apply to the skill's damage over time effect. So this also means that we can use Pain Attunement on the skill tree itself. We want to be scaling dodge and evasion plus ES and life, as well as, I forgot to actually write there, but as well as capped block chance, and if possible in the end game using a Shaper Shield with % recovery ES and % recovery life blocked or gained on block. So it does require no uniques, although can be scaled with things like a Cold Iron Point. And this one right here is looking like it's going to be my league starter in Hardcore Trade League. It looks like a really, really fun and strong build that I can do. The only downside I can see is Exsanguinate might not be the best with bossing, but scaling the damage over time of this skill can mean that you can jump around a lot and hopefully have a lot of movement and mobility coupled with all of the regen you get from Trickster. Now, just to quickly have a look at Trickster, I'll just show you what ascendancy points I would do. We're not talking about Path of Building today. I don't have Path of Buildings for you because we need to wait until that new tree is all out and we know about all those passives. But what would I do on Trickster? I would definitely go, not Templar, sorry, let's go back to Shadow. I would definitely go into Patient Reaper and Prolonged Pain. Now, Prolonged Pain is good because it stacks your damage double. So skill effect duration is really nice because you are scaling the skill effect duration of that physical damage over time from Exsanguinate. Then you are also getting 20% more damage over time as well. Now, the reduced damage taken from over time is really, really nice if you're using Petrified Blood, because damage over time is not mitigated by Petrified Blood. So because we're taking less damage over time, this is really nice to counteract degens, which may be a little bit more powerful towards us. They were then taking Ghost Dance and Escape Artist. Now, these are really nice to basically help us with our hybrid evasion and ES, and keeping our life pool capped up. Now, as I said, this build will be jumping over and grabbing Glancing Blows. I'm still trying to figure out exactly which way to path, whether we do path through here, pick up Pain Attunement, and then over here like this, and we can pick up some life. and some skill effect duration through all of these nodes, or whether we go a different way and go up through this section. But I think this way through the ES and then through the life here to pick up skill effect is going to be the best way possible to scale this. So that's my first idea. What is my second idea? The second idea is an Inquisitor, build number 2. Now, Inquisitor is in a really, really good place considering the manifesto that we've just received. There's been absolutely no mention of Inquisitor, so we don't know exactly if that means there's going to be no nerfs, but it does mean that things like Pious Path and Battle Mage and even Fanaticism are staying. Now, what does that mean for an Inquisitor build? I am looking at a Spell Slinger Exsanguinate, and then potentially even using self-casting Reap with some Fanaticism buffs up. So we're abusing Pious Path, Battle Mage, and having fun with Fanaticism. So just to remind everyone, Pious Path is going to be giving us regen from our life, also applying to our energy shield, which functions really, really nicely with low life, which we would be going on this build with Petrified Blood once again. And then also using Battle Mage to convert the damage on our weapon, on whatever wand that we're using for spell slinging, to also apply that to our spell itself. And we're scaling the on-hit damage, which is really, really nice. So we're stacking regen, once again low life. The only problem would be potentially killing ourselves due to Reap's massive cast speed, because Reap is going to be costing life. I'm not just talking about Exsanguinate here with this build, but kind of using both, but it's, you know, the primarily functional part is Exsanguinate with the Spell Slinger. And then scaling the hit damage of the spells, especially Exsanguinate, through Battle Mage, potentially even utilizing Mind Over Matter for more defenses to mitigate that life cost, because potentially that will mitigate to Mind Over Matter. It might not, but it might, but it's also going to really help our defenses with our whatever you call it, the Petrified Blood. Yeah. So that's that one right there. We're once again going hybrid. It just looks like these skills as spells are best built with Petrified Blood and hybrid, and then also once again going into your Pain Attunement, because the damage over time and the spell itself also scales with being on low life, which is really, really nice. Now, lastly, what is the last version that I would want to do? Build 3 is going to be an Assassin. Now, being an Assassin, you might be able to guess what we will be scaling. That's right, Cast on Crit. I've decided to have a look at Cast on Crit Cold Iron Point Exsanguinate. So basically using Cold Iron Points, even dual Cold Iron Point if you're playing in Softcore, to scale the level of Exsanguinate, because I'm fairly certain this is going to scale really nice. We're going to use Cyclone to be able to proc like Fortify and everything like that as well. And then triggering Exsanguinate should bypass the health costs, allowing for massive spam. So we're scaling the hit damage, as I said, through the level, but potentially we also weave in poison, depending if we can get enough generic damage over time or damage over time multi-scaling. Probably not a good idea, but it could be cool if it could work nicely. And then scale levels with Cold Iron Point, as I said, and other options. Now, the potential here through a Cruelty support could supplement the dot nicely, depending on the numbers of the Cruelty gem, but it's probably not going to be used. However, the main core of this is Exsanguinate Cast on Crit, and I can just imagine basically it's spewing blood everywhere around you, and then potentially even having a couple of different setups, having one with chain linked in there to be able to chain between enemies, and then one with a single target setup there as well. Now, closing thoughts. What do I think about Exsanguinate? I think it's going to be a really nice clear skill, but I think it will actually be overshadowed by Reap. Not only with the numbers that I'm seeing so far, we'll have to wait for the level 20 gems, but also in area and boss damage. Now, Exsanguinate as a base stacks up to 3 times, but Reap stacks up to 5 times, applying a bigger damage over time and a bigger initial hit. Cruelty support seems to work much better with Reap itself, which in the next video we are going to talk about Reap. So watch out for that next one in a couple of hours. That should be uploaded, maybe even only in an hour or so, but hopefully I've given you a couple of cool ideas with Exsanguinate. But let me know down below what you're considering with this skill, whether you are considering starting with it or whether you're a little bit apprehensive of starting new skills. That's totally fine if you are. If you like this kind of content, hit that sub button. I'm trying to get up to 100,000 subscribers in a year's time, or just under a year's time. I know it's a big goal to push for, but it is something that I'm aiming for. So if you want to help me out in any small way, just clicking that one button, one click on that red thing down there is going to go so long, such a long way for me. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, Badger is out.